GM, everyone. Crypto Bull Ron from Twitter. Trying a second attempt at going live on X as well as Rumble. Been doing a morning show, the GM Bitcoin morning show for 4 years now on Twitter as a space. Just want to kind of that is every morning at 10 a.m. on that's every morning 10 a.m. on X, and like I say, it's a space. So we run that for an hour. We kind of let you know what's happening with everything happened the night before. How's it going to affect the Bitcoin and the crypto price and general macro trends, things like that. Also talk about various stuff. I've got a few co-hosts that help me, and I've got a pretty good community. Been doing that, like I say, for almost 4 years now. So been wanting to bring that to some more formats, including doing a different format, which is live on X and also on Rumble, and here as soon as they turn my live on YouTube as well. So that's the plan. Did it yesterday, streamed from the Rumble studio, and that worked, but I wasn't able to get any chats, which I'm not seeing my chats here anyway. I don't even know if the chats are working, but anyway, I'll play with that. I'm using Restream today because I wanted to be able to. I noticed yesterday when I played audio on from Twitter, it didn't come up. I couldn't hear any sound. So kind of test. So if you are listening to this, like I said, I can't see any chats. This will also allow all the chats to be in one, though I don't know where to see them now. So I won't be able to do that. But the idea, and probably no one's listening anyway, so it doesn't matter. So if you are listening live on the recording, welcome. I'm fixing the green screen in my house. I have a green screen in my office. Also we sit on a nice golf course, so it's a nice background. But that's about my office, about 40 minutes away, and I haven't got my green screen to do virtual background. So I am just sitting in my truck, so I know the audio camera quality isn't good. That's why I'm just in a small little one down in the space. Like I say, more to test things out, figure this out more than anything, and test some different things. Like I say, I can use virtual backgrounds. I can blur the background. I can, with this system, theoretically merge all the chats so people can chat and ask questions. May start doing a Q&A towards the end of the stream. Also, my big test today is to see if I can pull up a screen and put the audio on there. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do right now and test to see if that works. So I'm going to switch my screen saving and my screen. I'm going to go over to an audio clip here that I want to play, and this is, of course, from Vivek's son on X. Vivek for real, great content there. Like a lot of his stuff, he posts some good clips. And this is last night at the World Economic Forum in Davos. This is the BlackRock CEO Larry Fink talking, and so I want to play this. So when I do listen to the playback, see if you can hear it. So this is kind of a test. Between me juggling between windows here. It will be easier if I'm at my office, of course, or at my desk where I have bigger screens. Right now, I'm just kind of trying to balance them all on my laptop here. But anyway, I'll be doing that a lot too because I do travel a lot, so want to be able to do that as well. So let's play this, and then hopefully you can hear it, and I'll play a couple clips. Hopefully you can hear it, and then when I listen to the playback, we can see. But this is Larry Fink in Davos this week, the World Economic Forum.
Decimalization is necessary. It's ironic that we see two emerging countries leading the world in decimalization, in the tokenization and digitization of their currency. That's Brazil and India. I think we need to move very rapidly to doing that. We would be reducing fees. We would do more democratization by reducing more fees if we had all investments on a tokenized platform that you can move from a tokenized money market fund to equities and bonds and back and forth. We have one common blockchain. We will, we can reduce corruption. So I would argue that yes, we have more dependencies on maybe one blockchain, which we could all talk about. But that being said, the activities are probably processed and more secure than ever. I think.
Okay, so once again, Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, one of the biggest money managers, maybe the biggest money manager in the world, at Davos, talking bullish about Bitcoin. And of course, their IBIT ETF is the biggest Bitcoin ETF in the world. You can go call your broker, say, hey, I want to buy IBIT, IBIT, and that way you can put it in your 401k, you can put it in your portfolio, whatever you want. So I first got into Bitcoin mining around 2011 through my buddy's friend. That was my first touch with it. I would say I really didn't understand it till late 16, early 17, when the light bulb kind of came on, and I thought, wow, this is the next internet. This is huge. At that point, I dropped everything, went full time. It's been about 10 years, and it's all I've done. So previous to that, I've done a lot of things. I did take an early crypto company public and was the CEO of that company. It was about an $80 to $100 million company. Ran that for 8-10 years as well. So I have a little bit of experience. I don't play, since I got into crypto, I don't play at all in the traditional markets, but I do know a little bit about traditional investing, public companies, things like that. And also, obviously, I've been doing crypto full time for 10 years, so know a fair bit about that. So that's why I like to come on here. For my full time job, I do run a crypto fund. Been doing that full time since 2020. So I have to do a lot of this homework anyway. By the time the market opens, I've usually been up for 4 to 6 hours anyway. So what I'm trying to accomplish with my morning show for the last 4 years, and now coming to you hopefully live on X for a little different format for people to listen to, also on Rumble and eventually YouTube, is to just kind of, hopefully in a 30-minute to hour format, you're able to find out everything that's affecting the market. And like I say, today is more of a test, only day 2. I am using some new software, so appreciate you being my guinea pigs if you're listening to this. Hopefully we'll get this figured out, and I'll be able to come to you every day, Monday through Friday. And then with any breaking news, or we have market pumps, market dumps, anything, I may come live from time to time on these 3 formats. But let's try one more here. One more audio clip, because like I said, this is what I'm trying to figure out. And it's a matter of me jumping around some different windows and things, and making some of them so that besides my microphone here, that also comes to, through what's playing. So that's what I'm trying to figure out today. Also, I will say, Larry Fink, for Bitcoin, we have Michael Saylor, kind of the lead voice on it. For Ethereum, we have Tom Lee, right? I think for real world assets, which is tokenization of assets, which I think is a huge niche, a huge way to make money and understand the market, is Larry Fink seems to be the one who speaks the most about it. He's kind of the lead voice speaking about tokenization. Tokenization can be real estate. You could tokenize a piece of art. You can tokenize stock and put all that on the blockchain. So another guy from the traditional market, Raoul Paul, kind of a macroeconomics guy in his career, and now he's does a lot with Bitcoin. Big fan of Ethereum, Solana, some of the other things as well as Bitcoin. But here talking about the M2 money supply, which is one of the ways we can predict where Bitcoin's going, is the M2 money supply, which is how much money people are printing in the world, right? So here's a little clip. Right now, it's we're kind of looking at, there's a high correlation, I'd say 80% plus correlation with the money printing, the global money supply, which is an all-time high right now. So anyway, let's since today one of my big things is figuring out how to record these and have you guys be able to hear them. Hopefully you can rehear this clip as well. So let's play this clip from Raoul Paul.
There's no actual real liquidity in the market right now, and when it comes in, it'll lift off. And once it gets attention, it can play the catch-up, close those alligator jaws versus global M2 versus global liquidity versus NASDAQ versus, historic parallels. I mean, it just dislocated from everything because of what happened.
Okay, so talking about why right now there's a divergence between the M2 money supply and the Bitcoin price. M2 money supply is going up, all-time high. Bitcoin, needs to play catch up. That's one of the indicators, one of the predictors of why will Bitcoin price go up, maybe all-time high this year. And a lot of things can happen. Obviously, biggest thing is the new Fed chair that Trump will be appointing. We think he'd get interest rates all the way down to maybe 1%. So obviously the current Fed chair, Powell, and Trump have a different idea of what should happen. And different, the Fed has their dual mandate of keeping inflation down and keeping unemployment down as well, keeping better employment, and keeping, they have a stated goal of keeping inflation at 2%. It's a little higher than that. According to what they go off of, I usually go off Trueflation, which it shows it's about 1.55. So anyway, Trump and him see different, but Trump will be printing money to help the housing market and other things, and also help with the midterms. Talked about dropping $2,000 tax rebates on everybody. They'll be lowering the rate, trying to incentivize the housing market and things like that. So basically what Ralph Paul is saying is we're basically going to play catch up once the liquidity comes back into the market. Okay, so now what I need to do is I need to go over here and I need to switch over, replace to my other normal window I'm going to be using. So let me share that with you. Okay, I can get out of this one here that we were recording on, and it'll make it a little easier. So hopefully that worked. Hopefully you weren't sitting here for the last 5 minutes when not being able to, or when I played those clips. Hopefully they'll play on the recording. That's the main thing I wanted to test today. But coming here and looking at a few things. The market's now open, so we can go down and we can see Bitcoin. Bitcoin is at 89,549. So officially that's down 0.1% for the day, 0.1% for the hour. So basically a little below where we were yesterday, which is kind of surprising to me, because I'm sure as we jump over and look at the traditional markets here, see where they're opened. Let's refresh this. And this is what I'm trying to come to you about a half an hour before the traditional market opens, so we can talk about the news and look at the futures and things like that. Okay, so let's look at the NASDAQ first. The NASDAQ is positive, almost 1%. And that's what the futures would have indicated. The futures come out the night before. So that's why, like I said, I've kind of been analyzing those for 4 to 6 hours when I will come on this live stream. I am going to try and start it pretty close to 9 a.m. Eastern time, and we'll run it till about, in a perfect world, if I can get all my technology right and everything, I'll probably run it till about 9:45 to 10 o'clock. And of course, you're always welcome to join me over on Twitter at CryptoBullRon, where we have that space we've been doing for 4 years, the GM Bitcoin Morning Show. Feel free to come join me over there. We'll run that right after this show as well. Be covering a lot of the same information. The reason I wanted to do it this way is I can share screens and things like that, which I cannot do. Hold on a second. Let me see if you're getting the right screen share. It doesn't look like it. Window, NASDAQ, share. I don't think I hit the share button. Or I don't know. I don't know if it's working for you or not. It doesn't look like it is for me. I'm just seeing blue on the screen share here. So, interesting. Doesn't look like the screen sharing's working. Let's try something else. Let's try stop screen sharing. And let's try to go back to a window here. See if that can fix it. Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay. So once again, I'm figuring this out. Okay. Back to what we're talking about. So looking here at the NASDAQ is up positive 0.82, almost 1%, which is, like I say, what futures. So I kind of thought that Bitcoin would open up a little higher above 90,000, but sometimes it has a mind of its own. Let's look at the Dow Jones. The Dow Jones is 0.63, and the S&P is sitting at almost up 0.54%. So gold is up for $4,840, pretty even. It kind of dropped yesterday when Trump kind of came out. Basically, with gold and silver, it's what we call a hard asset, right? It's not as, you can't just print it and stuff like you can money. You have to go out and mine it. There's a limited supply. So we call these hard assets. Those of us in Bitcoin believe Bitcoin's a hard asset because there's only 21 million shares. There's 20 million shares out there. Right now, there's only a million more left to mine. It's actually more scarce than gold and everything. And every 4 years, the amount of Bitcoin made gets cut in half. So it's ever more scarce. There'll never be more than 21 million shares. Those of us that are believers in Bitcoin believe that it's the hardest asset. But when people are printing more money and devaluing debasing their currency, when there's global instability or question, like recently what we had with Trump and his tariffs and all this talk about Greenland, you have a run to hard assets, which is why we've seen the huge jump this year in gold and silver. Once again, those of us that believe in Bitcoin as the best asset, as in digital gold, as better than gold, actually better than physical gold, we believe that it will play catch up as well. So when I see gold and silver going up, hey, kudos to you if you bought it. I love gold. I love silver, but I'm more in the digital version. So I don't own, obviously, most of my life, I've always owned a lot of gold, a lot of silver, a lot of these hard assets. I've never believed in the fiat currency, the US dollar, because I know they're always debasing it. You look at other countries around the world. I've spent a lot of time in Zimbabwe. When I first went over to Zimbabwe in the late 80s, the currency was 4-1. Last time I was there, you had to use $50 trillion to buy a loaf of bread. Now their money's gone. So I've experienced that firsthand. Okay. So basically, we feel that it'll play catch up and with these two. So I thought that looking back at the crypto world here, I thought that we should, in theory, we should have opened higher. We should be up, but sometimes Bitcoin, whether it's through manipulation or whatever, the reason, for those of you that are kind of new to Bitcoin, the reason we look at the market every day, and I come here every morning for 4 years now on X, and I'm going to start coming here to you guys on Rumble, live streaming on X, and hopefully tomorrow or the next day on YouTube, is because it's correlated, right? I believe in Bitcoin as an uncorrelated asset, and as more like gold and silver, as an uncorrelated to the real estate, uncorrelated to the money and interest rates and all that stuff. However, having said that, and as much as we believe that, right now it's treated as a risk asset. So it's affected. Think about it. Right now, many of the people, of course, recently we had Wall Street join in with us, but many of the people that are in here with Bitcoin, many of the investors are just investors that are investing in the stock market and things like that. So it acts at this point. At some point, it should act like digital gold. It should be uncorrelated. It should be a hedge against these other things. Right now, it functions very, very much like a risk asset. And since it's open 24/7, 7 days a week, sometimes it gets treated a little different. If bad news comes out on Friday, almost inevitably Bitcoin will dump if the market's closed, because people are panicking or they think the market's dropping. The only liquid asset, the only asset they can trade is Bitcoin and crypto, Ethereum, Solana, whatever. So that's exactly what they'll do. So I will be, hopefully bringing some, I don't know what the level of listeners are on this show are going to be. I'm going to try and explain basic stuff as well, basic principles, basic ideas. Like I say, having been in crypto for about 14 years and full-time for 10 years and 40 plus years in the regular market before that, I will kind of give you my ideas of the best way to do it. I am not a financial advisor, so obviously don't treat anything I say as financial advice. I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'll tell you, what I think is a good idea, but always do your own research always consult with a financial advisor. Always do what's best for you, because what's best for me, my risk appetite, where I am in life and things like that is different. So, we want everyone to, make sure you do stuff that makes sense for you. And one thing we will help you do is hopefully not get caught up in the hype and the panic. And, these markets are made, both the stock market and especially the crypto market, their function is to inflict max pain. Okay. So sometimes we look at that as a factor. What is max pain? How is it affecting you? And, but, we also hope Bitcoin and Ethereum and Solana and all these crypto are very volatile assets compared to everything. So a lot of times what happens is the market makers or whoever's controlling it, people that hold it, they will create panic. People sell that are new and don't understand it, and then they wind up buying back later. And, me being here full-time for 10 years and several years, 4 or 5 years even before that, hopefully I can help at least point this out to you and stuff like that. But let's hit a couple of news articles here, and then we'll call it a day for today. Hopefully you can even hear me. Got a new microphone, got a whole new streaming system, and hopefully, main thing I wanted to do today is just to be here every day, whether it's good or not. Hopefully we'll be able to improve the content and bring you more content, more insight as time goes on. But just doing some testing now. So thank you if you're listening or on rather X or on Rumble. I don't even have any followers on Rumble. So if you are listening, appreciate it. Follow me if you want to get this content. Do everything I can to hope. I believe Bitcoin is the biggest, between Bitcoin and AI, the two biggest opportunities financially and technically, and from a disruptive technical perspective, wave that you'll ever see. Much like the internet that I was able to capitalize on in my 20s, hopefully properly handled, this will be the biggest economic opportunity you probably ever see in your lifetime. So there is truly an opportunity to change your financial future for you, your kids, maybe even your grandkids. And so we'll come to that. But let's look at a couple of news articles. I will be bringing you the latest news articles. Only a couple of today because it is more of a test, and I am getting ready to go on my show. Fear and greed. Fear and greed right now. We got Bitcoin around $90,000. Fear and greed is extreme. Just touching on extreme fear. This is one of my favorite indicators. If you throughout history on Bitcoin always bought fear and extreme fear, it virtually always works out for you, right? So this is an indicator that I like. Some indicators are accurate all the time. Some of the time, none of them are really accurate all the time. But one of my favorites, and when I really want to be buying, is an extreme fear, especially if it gets around 9 or 10, which it has been. But historically speaking, as Bitcoin over time, most of us in the industry believe Bitcoin will hit $1 million, $2 million, $10 million, even maybe $13 million, maybe 20 million, who knows? But for me, I absolutely believe, and I've been saying this for 10 years, Bitcoin will hit $1 million. That was kind of crazy back when Bitcoin was 3,000. It went up anyway. But what I'm saying is I will also use this, look at this indicator. And right now with things looking like they're getting shorter with Greenland and the traditional market all-time high, gold, silver at all-time high, there's no reason for Bitcoin to be down here in extreme fear. So having said that, it's always an indicator. It's something I will talk about. That's when I buy is extreme fear. And it's always worked out. Now, the history doesn't always repeat, but it usually rhymes. So I'm buying when I'm at extreme fear. So the longer we're at extreme fear, it's also like building a foundation. If you think building a skyscraper stuff, they have to go in and compact and build that strong foundation. Fear and greed, when it's extreme fear, that's helping to build that foundation for nothing just goes up all the time, right? You don't really want to buy when things are going up because it can come down. You want to buy when others are fearful. What's the great saying? I don't know if it's Warren Buffett. Yeah, be greedy when others are fearful. Be fearful when others are greedy. Right now, other people are fearful. We need to be greedy. Let's also look here. This is Adam Back. Adam Back from Blockstream, the only man named in Satoshi's white paper in 2008. So one of the OGs of crypto, great guy. He said Bitcoin is one of the few technology ways where the individual front ran professional investors by a decade or more. I said, I don't say it anymore because Wall Street's joined us, but I said for over 10 years, you can look back on my tweets, listen back to my shows, we can beat Wall Street to the punch. When I took my internet company and my partner now in the fund, we had competing internet companies. He sold his for over $500 million. Both of us did that through Wall Street. Now, and so I've been saying for 10 years, we can beat Wall Street to the punch. Now, Wall Street is now involved in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and they're just recently in Solana and XRP and a few of these others, but we're still early. We're still very early. So if you're listening to this and you think you've missed crypto, you haven't. So great quote by Adam Back. Last but not least, I want to point out from Crypto News Hunters, one of my good friends in the space and one of my favorite news sources. They're not very big. They've only got 26,000 followers, but they do a great job, and I interact with them every day. Done some shows with them and stuff. They're good guys, but this is something you don't want to see. Netherlands to tax unrealized Bitcoin gains. The Netherlands will tax unrealized capital gains on Bitcoin stocks and bonds starting in 2028. Parliament has already approved the legislations. Investors will be taxed annually on asset value changes, whether sold or not. The reform will measure the difference between year start and year end asset value plus any income. This is really a bad thing. We hear about this all over. By the way, our sponsor today is Rockstar. They've been giving us, for some reason, at the gas station where I go, you buy a drink and they give you Rockstar for the next couple of months. So I've been testing out this only 20 calories Rockstar Pure Zero. So shout out to a Rockstar. Getting us hooked, I guess. But anyway, that's a bad thing, right? We hear that. We hear people talking about it. We've heard talk in the U.S. and Europe. Really bad thing. Imagine if you own $1 million house and they want to tax that 5% every year. Where are you going to get that money? You don't have it. It's in taxes. In this situation with Bitcoin, if you've got $100,000 worth of Bitcoin, you're going to have to pay 5% or whatever their percentage is. That means you're going to have to sell that every year, whether it went up or not, or whether you cashed it out or not. Just absolutely the worst thing in the world. Money tends to go where it's treated best. I believe a lot of people will leave and leave that. This is a horrible precedent. I hate to see this. Anyway, I'm getting ready right now to jump over on my at Crypto Bull Ron on Twitter for my spaces. Please join me there if you'd like to. We're there every Monday through Friday, 10 to 11 Eastern time. And like I said, hopefully I'll be here for a pre-market show where I can show graphs and stuff. Hopefully it worked. Hopefully you could hear me. Hopefully you could hear the audio clips. And I will try. Hopefully we can, only day 2. Hopefully we can do better tomorrow. And thanks for listening. And I should be here every morning, hopefully improving over time. So thanks for joining us. And we'll see you tomorrow.